Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. I am Blazeman, one of your hosts, and I will bring on the rest of the boys right now. And Mr. D, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Mr. Blazeman. I am with Israel.
Mr. Donnie.
What's up? How y'all doing?
And ladies and gentlemen, from parts unknown, we don't know if he originated in the Bigfoot section of New Hampshire, or he was just a freak of nature. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. B.
Was I a freak of nature? If the holidays annoy you like a squeaky violin, pack your load down the road and come to Holiday Inn. My friends, my father used to say he had 3 children, one of each. Then he'd point to me and he'd shake his hand and shrug his shoulders and walk away.
How are you, Mr. B? How are you, sir?
I'm outstanding, my friend. How we doing here?
That's good. That's good. So, look, guys, obviously we're going to talk about the Israel-Hamas war. It's something that can't not be talked about. Innocent people are dying by the thousands. And in my opinion, I also stand with Israel, okay? And in my opinion, Hamas are just nothing but a bunch of fucking cowards, okay? The IDF has proven now U.S. intelligence is proven with the IDF that Hamas literally has hostages in hospitals, tunnels in hospitals, and infrastructure in hospitals. So we're on this deal right now to hopefully get like 70 something hostages released. Mr. Donnie,
Are you really going to buy into they're going to release some hostages? Y'all really going to buy into that? They haven't come to the table in good faith not one time. What makes you think they're going to come again?
With caution.
I don't buy none of it.
With caution, Donnie. I don't buy it either, but we got to try.
No. Let's stop trying. Try what? What you going to do from way over here? Not a damn thing.
Money talks, Donnie.
Okay,
Donnie, money talks.
Whatever, man.
And
No,
then what happens,
bullshit.
though? What happens if he pays Hamas off to get hostages back? Is everybody going to come back and fucking kick Joe down a fucking throat because he actually paid money? Oh, we don't deal with, terrorists and all that shit like that. Man, we're trying to free fucking innocent civilians here. Go ahead, Don.
Well, no, I don't know where you're coming up with Joe Biden paying terrorists. The entire globe does terrorist or business with a terrorist organization. They're called what are they called in Afghanistan? Daggone, the Taliban. Missed my tongue. That's a terrorist organization. We all do business with them. So that shit about U.S. doing business, that's out the line. Whatever. We do business with terrorists. People, this is war in a heavily urban populated area. This is what happens. This is where it goes. Everybody says they want to have peace and that. No, Hamas doesn't want peace. When the other side doesn't play by the same rules, you're not going to win. And the hospitals and all that, there's rules and all that shit. No, there ain't, not for Hamas. They don't care. Women are second-class citizens to them. They want to completely wipe out, exterminate Jews like they're ants or something, like they're a bug, a pest. the only way this ends is a total annihilation for one side. Get your head wrapped around that shit.
I agree. I'm not in disagreement with that.
Stop crying and complaining. And all this shit about the U.S. and we got this is why Israel does half the shit they do, probably, because it ain't your war, homie. You can talk and you can say, but you can't change shit from over here. You can't do nothing. So I don't understand why everybody's all on the news and everything else. You ain't going to do anything about it. Ain't shit going to change. Israel's going to do what Israel needs to do for the survival of its people. So I really don't understand why everybody's just still up in the air and they're all butthurt or they're all, oh my gosh, they're in a hospital. Yeah, no shit. Welcome to war, people.
But Donnie, and I'd like to interject. Great opening on that.
Even though what you're saying
What's
is
that?
entirely right, I just think it's your attitude. Go ahead, D.
There's there's a lot going behind the scenes. Supposedly they say, and I gave the little two fingers, the deuces in the air. Um, what just boggles the mind, and I don't have that much mind left, is that their leader is sitting in Qatar, and for the Hamas folks, and we should arrest him.
Yeah, like Donnie says, chop the head off the snake.
Yes, but that's just.
I mean, this guy's on. I'm sorry, this guy's on like big media sites. You know what I mean? Talking to fucking BBC and shit.
My only concern with this enemy is that they're radical and they have no morals at all. The U.S. Army they do try to stick to morals and the Geneva Hague Convention rules and shit like that, all the way down to a medic. But this is a ruthless enemy, man, and they don't care. And we seen what they did. I didn't see the pictures, but fuck, man, nobody's gonna lie about chopping little babies' heads off and setting people afire, you know. And this is what just boggles me here is that the American public, and especially let's get to the colleges, the universities, all they are is hate making machines. That is all they are.
Yes.
Mr. B.
Gentlemen, we have to step back a little bit in time here to really start understand what's going on over here. You know, the Gaza settlements and so forth date all the way back to about 3,300 BC. People have been settling these areas here, settling that over there. Originally, it was owned by the damned Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
The Ottoman Empire had the damn thing, and then after that, the most important things that happened was the Brits owned it after World War One, and they were pulling the strings and being puppeteers to a lot of the different Arab, I don't know, sects or whatever you want to call them, or whatever they are, whatever they call themselves. Then after World War Two, people decided, what are we going to do with the Jews? And everybody finally turned around and said, you know what? Let's put them over in Israel. Why? Because it's Israel, and that's where Jews are from anyway.
But
so that's where they go.
But who was there? How did Israel already get its title? Who was there?
Israel became known as a state back in 47. The land was there, and the title, if you will, was there. They still knew it was there. They still knew Jerusalem was there. They still knew Tel Aviv was there. They still knew all these other places were there. But Israel wasn't its own state, or if you will, recognized as a country, an independent entity until back in 47. Yeah. The current day, when they were dealing with the Palestinians and this ones and that ones and whatever else, trying to figure things out. The current day construction created this two-tiered system that the people from the people that call themselves Palestinians believed that they were being discriminated against because the two-tier system had it said that settlers that were Jews had full rights of being Israeli citizens. However, people who were considered themselves Palestinians had to live in their sections that were run by or overseen by military, if you will, overseers of military police, like a almost like a martial law kind of thing, I guess they would call it. But they believed that the military occupiers were indeed discriminating against them. Ultimately, the whole Michigan land was owned by the Ottoman Empire earlier in life, and things just went on from there.
So, well, hold up. Getting back to the Ottoman Empire, correct me if I'm right or wrong, because this is about is religion. Wasn't the
It's
Ottoman
all about
Empire?
religion, D. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. And land. Continue.
what wasn't the Ottoman Empire Muslim based?
Mm-hmm.
What
I'll be
wasn't it?
very honest with you. I believe it was something that became a derivative out of the old, if you will, Holy Roman Empire. As far as being Muslim based, I'll be very honest with you. I do not know.
Oh man. And
Continue, Mr. B.
Pardon me.
Continue.
That's all I've got for you, my friend. Unfortunately,
Donnie makes the call. We can't do nothing over there, and he's 100% correct. 100% correct. My concern is, and I'm not selling out wolf tickets and telling Americans, be alert, which you should be, is that movement of what you see in Hamas, it's creeping into this great country of ours, man.
Mm.
It is
creeping,
You can
creeping.
creeping.
see it. You can see it on the campus floor.
Not only on the campus floor, but with the Palestine
But
and
that's what I'm saying. You don't think some of these kids in America can get radicalized?
oh hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And I'm really enjoying the way the Congress is talking about when it comes to immigrants, like no, no, no.
You know where radicalization is happening, and people just aren't paying any attention to it
Where
in the prisons.
there's always been radicalization in the prisons.
Always.
That's always been a sect. It's always been a race thing. Especially, you watch it, the prison system is kind of built like that because they just go in groups for protection, and that's basically how prisons work. I mean, that's always been there. So
So getting back on the Ottoman Empire, I got a little text from a good friend of mine's, and they were of, on regards to the Ottoman Empire, they were Sunni Muslim.
Okay.
Because I know one time recently, like in the last couple of months, the president of Turkey, supposedly NATO member and all this other good stuff, he made comment about the Ottoman Empire in one of his statements, and saying we should go back to the empire of where foundation of Muslims derived from.
yeah, and the guy from the leader of Houthis
Turkey,
down in
Turkey,
Yemen. No, I'm saying that the leader of the Iranian-backed little military group down there in Yemen fighting with the Saudis. He
Houthis,
basically, huh?
the Houthis.
Yeah, Houthis or whatever.
Yes.
He basically said a lot of the same thing. That's where I don't understand why the media is covering this as a like it's a force on force type war, because it's not about force on force. This is about the right of the ownership of the land and the how it should be governed. And this isn't something that's, I think, gonna end with a negotiation and everybody living. No,
Hey, boys, as a
you
little
gotta
point of order
it's
here, I
deeper.
will give some information. I don't know if you've heard about this or not. Blazeman, you may or may not have heard of this. being in Massachusetts, but I guess that they had announced midday this afternoon that the Palestinian flag is going to be flown over the town square in Andover, Massachusetts.
North Andover, to be exact.
Terrific. Okay. North Andover.
All right, guys, we got a little video to play for the audience, and then we'll discuss. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Israeli land forces conduct a strategic siege campaign. Hamas strongholds are being taken one by one. Land operations in the northern Gaza Strip reached an all-time high. The Israeli army took action in this direction at the scheduled time. Merkava tanks and other armored vehicles were the first to invade the Beit Hanun region from the northeast. In support of Israeli ground forces arriving through Sharab and Al-Karama streets, an operation with Israeli tanks and soldiers was initiated. The 35th Parachute Unit launched an attack from the region's east. The Israeli army launched a significant siege of this Beit Hanun neighborhood from the east, north, and northwest. As a result, the soldiers in the region's east advanced around 3 kilometers. Israeli ground forces have advanced around 2 kilometers in the region's northern and northwest directions. Furthermore, they destroyed numerous Hamas militants and their locations encountered during this advance. Israeli soldiers went deeper into the neighborhood as part of the operation, revealing tunnels and terrorist positions. In reality, the Israeli army on Al-Karama Street discovered another Hamas tunnel near Al-Naim Street. A battle occurred with Hamas militants who were seen emerging from this point. With their weaponry, Israeli troops promptly neutralized these attackers. Israeli soldiers threw bombs at the tunnel infrastructure when the point leading to it became unprotected. As a result, the tunnel entrances in this section of the region were inoperable. The region was then reinforced with more Israeli forces. Additional soldiers arrived from the east, while units like the 84th Givati Brigade arrived from the northwest. As a result, it was stated that the Beit Hanun region had been besieged and taken control of. Israel appeared to have initiated an operation from the shore at the same time. In just a few weeks, Israeli elite soldiers had advanced roughly 450 meters from the Asyafa neighborhood via Al-Rashid Saint. This is the way to go. With several tanks, Israeli special forces advanced to the southwest of the Atatra region, and then further south and into the interior. As a result, while advancing in the Jabalia region, Israeli special forces discovered a Hamas stronghold. He immediately initiated a land operation in the region. Israel used armored vehicles and men to storm the castle, known as Hamas's 17th outpost, in the region's west. Troops advanced from Salah Khalaf Saint with tanks and raided this Hamas stronghold. Terrorists in the area were involved in a 10-hour struggle. The Israeli special forces then neutralized the terrorists who were guarding the Hamas castle and entered it. This fortress was taken, and significant Hamas documents were confiscated. Documents detailing numerous Hamas assault plans and maps were taken, leaving only what was required for the ground execution of this information. The remainder was communicated to the airmen and commanders. As a result, further procedures will be carried out in accordance with the acquired data. Tensions also flared in Gaza City, which is located west of the Jabalia district. The Israeli army conducted a reconnaissance mission in the area. This operation included listening in on terrorists' radio talks and photographing the area with drones. This information was then relayed to land and air units. Particularly noteworthy were the Hamas sites discovered in Gaza's Sheikh Radwan district, which revealed both the Hamas arms stockpile and the unmanned aerial vehicle production facility. Israeli units immediately issued an alert to launch airstrikes on these facilities. These two vital Hamas positions were targeted and destroyed in accordance with the images supplied to Israeli pilots. Military outposts that were engulfed in fire and smoke were rendered useless. As a result, Hamas terrorists' offensive and defensive capabilities were substantially diminished. Furthermore, Israeli soldiers are known to have infiltrated the heart of Gaza. The destruction of such weapons depots and manufacturing sites offers a significant offensive capability. The Israeli army limits the terrorist organization's power by demolishing such places with smart maneuvers. Terrorists are unable to respond to operations or defend themselves as a result. Clashes between Israeli ground forces continue, particularly in northern and central Gaza. Terrorists from Hamas are routinely neutralized by confrontations in the El Zaytun region south. The Israeli army's current goal is to march to the south of the Gaza Strip. They
Okay. Donnie?
I got a quick question, man. Everybody talks about the two-tier state shit. The Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip and all that, you make that a country of its own and you recognize it as its own country. What's their economy? How are they going to survive?
And
Nobody
they
talks about that.
and they haven't, Donnie, and it's good you bring that up too, is that everybody in the region, to include Israel, does not want to do with anything with Palestine. Why? Why?
They don't bring anything to the table,
But
and
they,
the problem is the rhetoric that comes out from Hamas and all the other groups that support them. I mean, look at that guy down in Yemen. Who's this? They're ready to, if they ask what they said, they had an article. That man basically asked Saudi Arabia, said, "Hey man, just give me free reign to get up to Israel. I won't tear up shit in your land, but let me go through so I can go attack Israel." That's basically what that man asked. I mean, that's the shit that's just the entryway. If you're going to support that and you leave them there in Israel, if I'm Israel, I'm saying that's just a gateway for you to keep doing the same shit to me year after year after year. Hell no, I'm not going through this shit no more. Because this has got to end. This can't keep just be repeating this cycle. And everybody's all wanting to do, but listen to the rhetoric that comes out of these groups. They don't want to see Israel even survive. They don't want to come and negotiate. They want war. They want fight. They want conflict. That's all they want. They want a chance to kill a Jew. And every time we keep fighting with them and we keep going through this shit, we just give them what they want.
And what's that? What are we giving them?
A fight. Conflict.
Okay.
That's what you're giving them.
Okay.
So either you go kill them all and end the eternal just conflict, or you keep fucking around fighting with them. You know what I mean?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, guys, you may remember I mentioned before about the PLO. The PLO ceased to exist back in the late 1980s, and then they just kind of dabble around with the Sunnis or whatever else, and Hamas emerged as the next ones in line to take the place of the PLO, and this is where we are now. So the names may have changed, but the game remains exactly the same. And this is why, largely, nobody wants to deal with them. Egypt won't take them in. They won't take them into Syria. Nobody wants to take Palestinians because of Hamas.
Americans do. Americans want to bring the Palestinians here.
Yeah. Good idea.
You know, okay. should there be a test on ideas? You know what? Wow, man!
How do you filter them out, Mr. B? I mean, because regardless of the situations, some of these people, and quite a few of them, are just innocent.
Yeah, but if you want to figure out how to
going on in Congress right now, we have people that were elected to public office who swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend, if you will, our Constitution and do things according to our laws, who truly have loyalty based solely with the country of Palestine and its current government, the Hamas people.
Gotcha.
I
Well,
I want to make one comment, and I know you're running close to the break, Mr. Blaze. Um, so if when they're done with Israel, who do you think they're coming for next? And I leave it at that.
Christians.
Mr. Donnie, you want to answer that?
That's a good question, Mr. That Demas puts up, and it's a good question. I mean, do they come after Christians, or do they come after this? But I can pretty much, I'd be right there. I think Demas would tell me wherever they're going next, it's going to be within our borders.
Yes, sir. Mr. B?
They come after anything and everything that is not in line with their political and religious views.
Well, it's not political; it's religion.
No, it's political as well.
That's one thing about the Middle Eastern countries I've learned from experiences. Politics and religions are a little more meshed in that part of the world.
Together, right?
Yes, they're meshed together a little bit more than they are in the United States. So yes, it's religious and political. It's both. I mean,
they have based their political system and their views and their outlooks and everything and their laws on their religion. They operate their government the same, based upon their religion.
They just absolutely hate, and I say that with the strong passion. They just hate the way of life. They can't. And then I see these protesters, and I want to get to these Palestine protesters because the Israel that was on today, and you didn't hear nothing about it. A large audience, no Donald Trump audience. It was a large audience, and there was no violence. But the Palestinians, they had their little goat show, and it just spread to violence and stuff. When is that going to come into your neighborhood? When is it going to come into your environment? You know, I'm telling you, we need to be cautious of this movement. And getting back to these protesters and stuff, the ones that claim they're LGBTQ and all this other good shit, they won't live
They won't last a day.
A second with the Muslim rule.
No.
You know, and I don't understand how
because all that says is how ignorant they are, D. They don't understand the situation.
Yes.
That's just ignorance. You know, they want to get out there with their fucking pom-poms and think, oh, people are going to see me look for the greater good. And dude, everything you fucking represent, they would behead you.
They see
throw you off.
Like
they would behead you. They will throw you off.
Getting away from
whatever.
Republicans.
I did a little research before the show, and it came up on my feed. And there is 65 countries in this planet that ban homosexuality, all the way from imprisonment and into death. Those are the penalties. And here you are cheering on these people. Come on, man.
Right.
Come on.
They are willing to do anything. It's like the drowning man willing to grab a point of a sword to save himself.
Right.
These people will grab for anything that will get that'll put down and get away from Republicans and conservative views.
Nah. Okay.
Whatever they think that they can use to defeat it, they'll grab to, not thinking, not knowing, not understanding what it is they're grabbing after.
Okay, so I hear you, Mr. B. We're all hearing you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for more of The Way We See It. We got video coming up of 6 captured Hamas members. Interrogation. We're going to play that video for a little while, and then we're going to discuss it. So stick around. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. Enjoy the song.
last bus on foot to get home. I miss the town, rowdy and clever, all at once undercover, blowing kisses to the shop windows as we go. We stayed out playing past midnight.
That was years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
I see the view stretching before us, cathedral bells and a chorus, morning larks singing out to the dawn. I miss me and you, boy, with style, on our bikes, single file, day drinking at a cafe in Cologne. We stayed out playing past midnight.
But that was years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
Are we getting old? Am I getting over? Gotta catch my breath before we go. We stayed out playing past midnight.
But that was years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
We stayed out playing past
That was
midnight.
years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Way We See It with yours truly, Blazeman, Mr. D, Mr. Donnie, and Mr. B. Before, ladies and gentlemen, before we play this video, I'd like to remember the five military Army Special Operations Command mourns 5 U.S. troops killed in a helicopter crash, and let's give them the due diligence that they need, that they deserve, I should say.
You know. Sorry,
That's right.
I got tongue tied when I saw the pictures.
These undated photos provided by U.S. Army Special Operations Command Public Affairs show the 5 Army Aviation Special Operation Forces killed when their helicopter crashed in the eastern Mediterranean over the weekend. From top left to bottom right are Chief Warrant Officer number 3 Stephen R. Dwyer of Clarksville, Tennessee, Sergeant Andrew P. Suthan of Apache Junction, Arizona, Staff Sergeant Tanner W. Groan of
Gorman, New
yeah,
Hampshire.
yeah, Gorman, New Hampshire. Yep. Sergeant Cade M. Wolf of Mankato, Minnesota, and Chief Warrant Officer number 2, Shane M. Bonds of Sacramento, California. They were based in Kentucky, U.S. Army Special Operations Command, Public Affairs via AP. There's a quick moment of silence for these gentlemen, guys. Okay. May God rest their soul, man.
I brought it up to I don't even remember them, but it's just a good reminder that we live within heroes within our own neighborhoods. Mr. B, Gorham. When I saw that guy, I said, "Oh, Mr. B is your
Yeah.
neighborhood and all that stuff." Did they line the streets for the arrival of?
Gorham's is a bit of a hike up north for us.
Yeah, and the only thing I could think of, man, the way these guys saw their last moments, I'm thinking, Donnie, it was a refuel mission that brought this helicopter down, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I saw on the news. They said they were having a refuel mission. They were over there, and something happened. That's what brought it down.
And, and I just want to make another thing. Lieutenant Jonathan Braga, he's the commander of CENTCOM. And, you think of Massachusetts, that whole New England area, liberal. No, there's another great American, Mr. Colonel General Braga. He hails from Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Right.
Okay.
I like seeing shit like that.
Yeah, of course. That's from where you're from.
Yeah, and I recruited from there, and there was a lot of liberal mommies out there that didn't want their son in the army, and all I was trying to do is make a grocery bill smaller.
Right.
Yep. So I've said enough, Blaze. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, very well. Without further ado, we're going to play this video. Let me remind everybody that some of the things that these sick bastard individuals say might not go with, what everybody thinks. This, one guy was interrogated, and they're like, what was, the purpose of your attack? And he was like, to kill men, capture women. You know what I mean? So let's take a listen, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, get the kids out of the room.
الحمايد
انت مسؤول ايش؟
مسؤول فصيل
مسؤول فصيل؟ فوين؟
الشبورة رفح.
اسمك الرباعي يحيى؟
يحيى ماجد صبري سويدان.
من وين انت؟
من سيارات.
من سيارات، يعني؟
غزة.
وظيفتك شو كانت؟
اخ كنت انا في حماس.
الزمرة؟
في القسام قائد زمرة. شو اسمك الرباعي؟
أحمد مالي أحمد أبو
منين انت من اي منطقة؟
من غزة الدرج.
شو اسمك الرباعي؟
مهند ياسر زيد برزي.
من اي منطقة انت ساكن؟
الشبورة.
شايف محمد المجدلاوي.
وين ساكن؟
من صراحة.
لأي منظمة أنت تابع؟
حماس.
شو اسمك الرباعي؟ حمزة محمد إبراهيم الزرقاء. حمزة محمد إبراهيم الزرقاء. وين انت؟ من غزة. من غزة. لأي منظمة شو تابع؟ شو نشيط ايش انت؟ الحماس. فايش في حماس؟ القسام. قسام ولا نخبة؟ نخبة. شو مهمتكم بالضبط كانت تعملوا؟
اقتحام موقع صوب العسكري.
وغير الموقع في كمان كانت مهمة؟
كيبوتس وما رحنا اصلا نروح يعني بعد بيوم او يومين زي
هو مدنيين في ذيك
الوقت. هو التعميمات في بخصوص المدنيين كانت اللي هو يعني قتل الرجال، الأسر اللي هو النساء والمسنين والأطفال.
قتل الرجال يعني المدنيين؟ شباب مدنيين؟
ماذا مدني عسكري زيك.
الحين وصلنا على الحدود، رحتنا على بئيري.
بئري شو تعنونك؟
السيطرة كانت.
قولي شو المهمة كانت تبعتكم؟
خطف يعني. زي كده.
خطف وأسر من كفر عزة؟ لما أحكوا لكم يعني قتل وأسر، من انتوا رايحين على مستوطنة فيها مدنيين، عارفين هذا الشيء. مين قال لكم يعني من القيادة اقتلوا المدنيين؟
احنا اللي كان يحكي لنا محمد نهض البطش مسؤول المجموعة.
شو قال لكم؟
قالنا احنا مهمتنا كفر عزة، بدنا نقتل، بدنا نقدر نخطف زي كده يعني.
قول لي المهمة تبعتكم شو كانت بالضبط لما طلعتوا؟
Okay.
السيطرة.
Mr. B, you have something you want to
Bring
add?
that back to the last fellow that was just on camera. I want to point something out to you folks and to the viewers. This fellow right here. This one right here. Look on the right arm, the blood-soaked shirt. Look at all the blood staining. This is not somebody who was just kidnapping people.
No, it
That's
looks like
blood.
yeah.
So you're saying he was the executioner?
He took part in something. You see a bandage on his left arm. Blood from his left arm did not get over into the right side of that shirt.
Okay.
خطف يعني. زي كده.
خطف وأسر من كفر عزة؟ لما أحكوا لكم يعني قتل وأسر، من انتوا رايحين على مستوطنة فيها مدنيين، عارفين هذا الشيء. مين قال لكم يعني من القيادة اقتلوا المدنيين؟
احنا اللي كان يحكي لنا محمد نهض البطش مسؤول المجموعة.
شو قال لكم؟
قالنا احنا مهمتنا كفر عزة، بدنا نقتل، بدنا نقدر نخطف زي كده يعني.
قول لي المهمة تبعتكم شو كانت بالضبط لما طلعتوا؟
السيطرة على موقع صوفا.
السيطرة شو تعملوا؟ السيطرة ايش
مركز فيه.
شو تعملوا في اللي موجودين؟
هو تسيطر عليهم، قتل يعني. اجت تعليمات واحنا غاد لمسؤول فصيل من قائد السرية، قال له اخطف لي.
دخلنا كان الصبح في داخلين نخبة، وبعديها كمان نخبة داخلين. احنا كان داخلين ناخد أسرة ونقعد البيوت. سلامة بالبيت في وقت التقينا جمعنا عنده، كلم أبو زيد قال له طهروا البيوت واخطفوا قد ما تقدروا أسرة، لأنه في غزة اللي باخد أسرة له مكافأة.
قديش المكافأة قالوا لكم؟
شقة، منزل، بيت، $10,000.
اللي بيجيب كل أسير باخد شقة ومنزل؟ مين قال لكم إياها هاي؟
كانوا يحكوها في القسام يعني.
So, for some people who might be having a hard time read the caption out there, he was told that he would get $10,000 in an apartment for carrying out the mission. Donnie, you got something to add?
No, I was just saying that other guy, the skinnier guy, what was your mission? To settle there. That's
yeah.
playing chess. I'm settling. I'm gonna go spread my little seeds of hate for Israel and Jewish and Christianity, and that's just the kind of enemy you're facing.
But
know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Donnie, you're 100% right. But a lot of the great Mossad agents that work for Mossad are sympathetic Arabs that want to help the Israeli. Because all these guys here, man, they all look like decent guys. It's just that they've been institutionalized. And the way they're talking, they are structured real good, talking about commanders and squad leaders. I'm impressed. And that $10,000 an apartment, that was probably funded by the United States.
Of course.
Let's listen to more.
القسام اللي واقف القسام قال
You guys can call for a stoppage if you got something to add.
لأنه هم بدهم أسرة، بدهم ياخذوا أقدر ممكن الأسرة، فهم هدفهم من الدخول أصلا إنهم ياخذوا أسرة.
شو المهمة تبعتك كانت؟
اقتحام.
اقتحام لوين؟
لكفر عزة.
شو تعملوا؟
نطهرها ونسيطر عليها.
شو يعني التطهير؟
الناس.
So a kibbutz, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, it is like a ranch where they have a couple of families living on it. Am I correct on that?
Not sure.
A kibbutz, in my understanding, it's like a commune. There are a great number of people all that live together, and they share their separate. They have separate lives, but they also share the work and so forth, and
So much like
share the land, and it's like its own little town that becomes its own self, if you will, self-sufficient area or district.
I'll buy that. Thank you.
Well, what I was looking up, it says a kibbutz is an intentional community in Israel that was traditionally based on agriculture, farming, and ranching. Huh.
Well, we just got a comment from Crispy Faco.
That's what I want to know. Where's he talking this junk about CNN knowing about what attack beforehand? That was interesting right there.
It said, did you touch on CNN knowing about the attack beforehand? Waiting for his reply. I sent him a message back.
Was that? Now, what attack is he talking about?
I'm assuming it's the attack, guys. Let's listen more to video and maybe hopefully.
No, but hold up now. Hold up. The way Israel went back, that's called an attack as well.
Right. Is he talking about the very first one on the 7th that recently happened? Which
Well, that's what I'm waiting on.
Got it.
Right, let's listen. Oh, hold on.
Okay, we'll play some video and check that out, please.
I can't. Never mind.
تخطفه ولا ايش؟ لا ما خطفناش احنا يعني ايش بس قتل انفض الضوء.
وشو عمل القسام يهبري؟
قتل.
مين قتل؟
مدنيين. دخلوا 2 على البيت. ضل في غرفة في الوجه مسكرة، طخ على الباب صار في صوت جوا. دخلوا كمان 2، كان في واحد مرمي على الباب زوامية، كان في دم جنبه طبعا. كان في جوا زلمة مصاب، ومتوقع انها عائلة كاملة. لبس عادي يعني لبس منزلي يعني. الزلمة المصاب كان لابس كلسون، وطلعت مرأة لابسة فستان عادي يعني فستان بيت، والتاني برضو كمان لابس فستان، وفي ولد وبنت.
Open the link on a new tab, Blaze.
I'm gonna take care of that, bro.
Drinking warm water before bed shrinks a swollen prostate overnight. Thousands of men are.
احنا مشينا يسار في بيت هناك، طلعوا منه مرة يعني ختيارة، غطوها.
انه هذول الشباب اللي كانوا معك استعملوا العيلة هاي كذراع بشري.
طيب احكي لي لما كنتوا في كفر عزة شو عملتوا بالضبط انتوا اللي كانوا معك؟
دخلنا اول دار، ثاني دار كانت المرة، طخها حمزة على باب الدار.
واللي المرة لما شفتها يعني شو شفت عليها؟
شفتها انا مرمية بس ما قربتش منها يعني، طلع الكلب تبعها بالشارع، طخيته انا. بعدها كان في واحد بالجنينة.
المدني هذا اللي كتبته كان معه سلاح؟ لا. كم طلقة ضربت عليه؟
من 2 ل 3.
فوين الطلقات ضربته؟
عن منطقة الصدر.
منطقة الصدر. وبعد هيك؟
بعد كده قعدنا نلفلف بالضوء في دارين أظن عملنا فيهم حريقة.
احكي لي شو عملتوا في مستوطنة بئري وكيف كنتوا تطهروا البيوت؟
أول ما دخلت المستوطنة شفت 2 عفزبة كانوا ماخذين مرأة من عمرها من 60 ل 65 سنة. عفزبة
ماخذينها لوين؟
لغزة. بعد ما كتبوا المستوطنين 2 سنين كرم، جابوا واحد تقريبا عمره 40 ل 45 سنة، زلمة كلونه قمحي شوي ومش طويل كتير. أخذوا عماد أبو الحروج وضلوا طالع فيه.
ولوين أخذوه؟
على غزة. واحنا راجعين وراه كانوا طالعين من جوا بنت عمرها يمكن 16 سنة أو 15 سنة.
شو عملتوا في البنت؟
هذه البنت وقفت، صوروا معها سيلفي، كانوا يقولوا طخوها، وفي قال لا ما تطخوهاش، خذوها أسيرة. وتصوروا معها، في واحدة تصور معها سيلفي وركبها على الفيسبوك في بيت قدمنا عليه كلنا. اجى تبع الهندسة اللي هو تمه عجنبه بنظارات، ما بعرفش اسمه برضه، ما بعرف شكله، جاب ابوه.
Just by this guy talking about the motorcycle, he's the one on
He's the one what?
I'm sorry, I'm getting it back here. On the evening news today with Nora. They were the IDF was showing locations, and he had just mentioned motorcycle, and the IDF was showing a location where they brought hostages because there was a couple of motorcycles there, you know, and they were explaining, oh, you see this motorcycle, they took this person on this motorcycle, stuff like that. I just thought it would.
He was the driver. Okay.
It could be, you know, he was talking about motorcycles.
Where are we going? Where are we going with this video, Blaze? This is what you know, the way wars are fought now. This is, I don't even want to call it a war because it's nothing but terrorist conflict going back at each other. The only difference is you either like one terrorist or you don't like them. It's basically what it is, because the very same tactics that these guys are using, you know, there's some people out there on the Israeli side using the same tactics.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
They're not kidnapping people, but as far as the fighting part of it, it's an urban warfare. They're doing the same thing, you know what I'm saying? So I really can't say it's a war. It's because the people they're fighting isn't another army. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I mean, you know, nowadays, especially when you're fighting in the Middle East, you don't know who the enemy is. They don't have a uniform.
Mm-mm.
You know, but what I want to touch base is this AP article that we were just alluded to that we're going to check out real quick.
What, the CNN had video of something before?
It's not video.
CNN been in that kind of bit, you know, murky water before with stuff about, oh, they knew and they had video, but they didn't say nothing?
Probably, yeah.
Did I remind you of what happened with Osama bin Laden being where he was, and Christiane Amanpour came out and said exactly where he was, and no one listened to her?
Yeah.
Well, shit, nobody listened to Oliver North about Osama bin Laden, hell.
No shit, that long ago. Exactly. All right, let's take a listen to this article.
Can't read it.
This news story was written by Jeremy Barr. News organizations deny advance knowledge of Hamas attack. But CNN and AP cut ties with a freelance photographer whom an Israeli media watchdog group implied had been tipped off. Several news organizations firmly denied on Thursday that they had advance knowledge of the deadly October 7 Hamas attack on Israel, after a pro-Israel media watchdog group suggested that freelance photographers they worked with had been tipped off. Honest Reporting, which says it is dedicated to exposing and responding to inaccuracies or bias in media coverage of Israel, published a report Wednesday naming 4 freelance photographers who it implied had advance knowledge of the Hamas incursion because they had been well positioned to photograph it. While not directly accusing the news organizations, the group made insinuations of complicity. What were the photographers doing there so early on what would ordinarily have been a quiet Saturday morning? Was it coordinated with Hamas? Did the respectable wire services, which published their photos, approve of their presence inside enemy territory, together with the terrorist infiltrators? CNN, the Associated Press, Reuters, and the New York Times, which all published photographs by the freelancers, denied any advance warning of the attack. But CNN and the AP chose to cut ties with Hassan Eslaya, one of the freelancers, though they did not specify why. Eslaya got extra emphasis in the Honest Reporting story, which resurfaced a several-years-old photo of him posing with Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Eslaya could not be reached for comment, and efforts to contact him through the media organizations that purchased his work were not successful. On Thursday afternoon, the Times issued a statement in support of photographer Youssef Massoud, who Honest Reporting had said had arrived on the scene just in time to set foot in Israeli territory and take pictures of burning Israeli tanks. Though Youssef was not working for the Times on the day of the attack, he has since done important work for us, the Times said. There is no evidence for Honest Reporting's insinuations. Our review of his work shows that he was doing what photojournalists always do during major news events, documenting the tragedy as it unfolded. The Times also offered a larger defense of freelance photographers who rush into danger to provide first-hand witness accounts and to document important news.
Get out of here.
We are gravely concerned that unsupported accusations and threats to freelancers endangers them.
You think it's just another rumor?
No, I'm just saying this sounds like somebody's just pissed off because homeboy, okay, if he has ties to people, like he got pictured with that leader, years back. Apparently he's in the rumor mill. He's in the media, so he's out there. He's out there whining and dining, trying to listen with his ear when he finds them out there. You got to know that's how the Arab world kind of works sometimes. He got lucky on a rumor he heard, and he acted on it. This just sounds like somebody's jealous.
But he didn't say nothing, though.
It's a rumor.
All right, let's listen to more.
Really?
Donnie says it's all a rumor.
That's some bullshit. This is just somebody's jealous.
And undermines work that serves the public interest, the paper added. Photos and videos are particularly challenging to obtain from Gaza, from which Western journalists are unable to report unless accompanied by the Israeli army. While the AP acknowledged that it was no longer working with Eslaya, who took several photos of the October 7th attackers and the aftermath that received global distribution, the wire service said it did not receive any photographs until well after the attack began. The company's statement touted the importance of breaking news photography and said it verifies the authenticity of such photos before publishing them. The role of the AP is to gather information on breaking news events around the world, wherever they happen, even when those events are horrific and cause mass casualties, the organization said. Reuters said it purchased photos of the October 7th attack from two Gaza-based photographers with whom it did not have a prior relationship, but denied any prior knowledge of what would happen. The Israeli government has seized on the Honest Reporting item, with the Prime Minister's office charging that these journalists were accomplices in crimes against humanity and demanding immediate action be taken. Overnight, the government said it had sent a letter to the bureau chiefs of the news organizations mentioned in the story seeking clarifications on the matter. Israeli politician Benny Gantz, who is part of the country's three-member war cabinet, wrote on social media that journalists found to have known about the massacre and still chose to stand as idle bystanders while children were slaughtered, are no different than terrorists and should be treated as such. In its statement, the Times said it was reckless to make such allegations, which are putting our journalists on the ground in Israel and Gaza at risk.
Okay, Mr. B.
Well, I think I think that what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to look into things like this, and before we go further with them, I think we need to do a lot more research on them to make sure that the information that we're getting isn't just some bass backwards unsubstantiated rumors. It sounds to me as though the information that we've got is going to be somehow a little bit difficult to confirm.
Okay. Mr. D, anything to add on the article?
I really believe probably a media agency knew about this attack, but what that's just Mark Nick's shit, man. That doesn't really matter. What concerns me on all this is Israel let their guard down, and this is what happened. That's it. That's, how did Israel let their guard down for what, 7 hours for them to commit all this shit? No reactionary force, and they're supposed to be the greatest military in that part of the world. Something's fishy here. something's really fishy.
I agree.
Fishy how? How?
Dude, they had 7 hours to penetrate Israel, rip holes through a fence, destroyed tanks that they had parked there at the at the wall that they have there, and no reactionary force to come and save the day.
Need I remind you, gentlemen, of our own history, where on a Christmas Eve, General Washington crossed the Delaware with all of those men and did what they had to
Yes,
do, took out the Haitians?
yes, sir. I have that picture on my wall.
Okay.
It's the Merry Christmas picture. It's George Washington.
Who's to say the same situation? There was a big party going on. It was a big party.
This is breaking news from the Jerusalem Post. Yemen Houthi has launched a batch of ballistic missiles on various Israel targets, including sensitive ones in Israel. The group's military spokesman said on Tuesday. The launch came after 24 hours of another military operation by drones on the same Israel targets, the spokesperson had added. The spokesperson also said the group will not hesitate to target any Israel ships in the Red Sea or at any other place the group could reach. So that's breaking news right now from the Jerusalem Post, ladies and gentlemen.
Ballistic missiles.
Oh, that was that. I read that earlier.
That's a ballistic missile. Yeah, that was 3 hours ago. It just posted 3 hours ago. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for more of The Way We See It. We will be right back in about 3.5 minutes.
I hear the sound, stumbling laughter, holding on to each other. Miss the last bus on foot to get home. I miss the town, rowdy and clever, all at once undercover, blowing kisses to the shop windows as we go. We stayed out playing past midnight.
That was years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
Stay out playing past midnight.
That was years ago.
Now something just ain't right.
Better take it slow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Way We See It. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. B had to leave the show a little bit early. He was feeling a little bit ill. But he says, peace and love to all yous out there, and catch him tomorrow on his show, Politicking with Mr. B, tomorrow night, Wednesday, November 15th, right here on the FFN Network. So, Donnie, you seem like you got some shit on your mind, bro. What do you want to go with?
What are you talking about got on my mind? I'm just tired of everybody trying to want to talk about Israel. You shut the hell up and get out the way, man. That's all you can do.
Well, that's not what's going to happen. So it's got to be newsworthy. Look, hey, I agree with your assessment. Leave it alone. Let Israel going in there. But, unfortunately, what is Gaza? Like fucking 18 miles long and fucking 6 miles wide?
Yep.
Something to that effect, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's over 10,000 people already fucking dead in that fucking place, man.
Right.
They obviously Israel could surround it. Why not?
They had it surrounded for the last half century, man. They've had it surrounded. They've known that. It's at a point that I think this is the way I see it. This is what I see, and this is what I can't comprehend, how the media doesn't cover it like this. Israel's been doing this same bullshit for the past, since 1967 or whatever, the last time they had an agreement or whatever. They've been doing this for so long, and it's always been this tit-or-tat, go back and forth. And they're at a point where they finally see this isn't going to work. We can't exist. We can't coexist on the same piece of land. They're two people, two groups of people. They just can't coexist. So Israel's like, F it, we're going to be the ones that exist in the end. And they're just going after them. And there's going to be carnage, and there's going to be aftermath, and a lot of people and a lot of things are going to be fucked up when it's all said and done.
It's just, Palestinians and Israelites, they coexist pretty good in the West Bank.
Yes. Yeah, they do, Donnie. Shit, there's like 20,000 before this bullshit happened. There was like 20,000 Gazans that would cross the border every day to work in Israel.
Go to work.
Right. But where does Hamas have their headquarters at?
Underneath the hospital.
Yeah, in Gaza. Not in the West Bank. Not in the West Bank. Exactly.
So those people have no control over their government or nothing?
What?
What I said, they don't have any control over their government. Hamas is their government.
Basically, now,
guys, I'm just as a greenhorn about this area as most people. So, again, Hamas is Palestine's government.
That's it.
Yeah, you could say that.
Pretty much,
yes,
yeah.
Blaze.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
so they're like the bullies of the block, right?
Hamas is.
To the Palestine people.
Yes, exactly. And the way they negotiate with them is with fear. They'll kill their daughter if they don't get away or something like that. It's man, it's I wouldn't say it's confusing, it's very concerning because most Americans don't think it could possibly happen here. And here I go again. Man, when we have anti-sendemism here in the United States that's so rapid, man, what would other groups do if they started attacking them? I.e., uh, the Hispanics, the blacks, death to Hispanics. What kind of outroar would there be?
Outrage, yeah.
Yeah, outrage. Yes, yes. It's just, we went through this shit in the 60s with the black folks, man. We don't want to go back to that, man.
No.
We don't, but these hate machines, these college universities and stuff, they're just promoting this shit, man. And I'm just like, whoa.
It's
what is it going to take a terrorist to go on that university and do something bad?
Well, wait, hold on, Demons, hold on. I want to ask you about how are these universities or these hate machines promoting what this whole agenda you're talking about? Because the way I look at it, though, if the universities and the education system just entirely as a whole in our country is so constricted when it comes to rights as far as freedom of speech and freedom of expression, they're handcuffed to a point. If they say no, they're facing a lawsuit for fucking millions of dollars, and they don't want that shit. So it's easy for a university to probably say, "Shit, have your protest," knowing damn well some stupid shit gonna go down. Hey, make sure we got the police, but I can't get a lawsuit because somebody else started the stupid shit. I'm good with it. Can't blame them if they thought that way. But that's how it's come for some businesses and organizations now within our borders because of the way we act. It's not really so much about what they're protesting anymore.
Well, you mean act during a protest?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So versus civil versus violent, right?
Right.
I don't know, Donnie, but being a Jewish kid going to Columbia University is kind of sad when you got to hide, in places that are not comfortable to an average citizen for the simple fact you're a Jew.
Yeah, you get berated.
And a lot of these professors on these universities, they're promoting this shit. Go out there, do your right, the freedom of speech. Yeah, shit. You got to be living to have all these freedoms. You fuck around, you ain't gonna have no freedoms because you're gonna be dead because you played into their game, and that's it. Bottom line, how can an LGBTQ American protest with Palestine? Correction, they're not protesting with Palestine. Hamas. Do they know their verdict in their world? And I know I'm repeating myself because I can't get my head around this. I really can't. It would be like me. It would be like me protesting the United States government. The army's giving me a pension, but I'm going to protest. See? And they haven't screwed me.
I think it's more the point of their protest. They just want to get on TV or something like what Mr. B is saying, and they're trying to use whatever channel, whatever communication device they can figure out to use to try to say, oh, the poor innocent civilians and everybody that's dying. Yes, I know. Yeah, that happened. I think that's more what everybody's protest more is, because I really don't think the general public, as a public, as a society in general, as much as everybody wants to sit on TV and talk about it, I think we're not as smart as we think we are when it comes to Arab relations and how Arab world works. I really don't think that, and that's going to be something that.
Well, we're going to find out the hard way.
Yeah, I think so. I think we find out the hard way because I think the U.S. the more we stay over there and poke our nose and things, the more we're going to find out we're not wanted, and the more it just opens up for something.
But lately it's been lately it's been if we don't poke our nose, then we're fucking we're against it or whatever the situation may be. I don't know. It's
Where do you want to stand?
I agree with D in a sense where these fucking professors and shit are brainwashing these young kids, man. You know, if you got somebody, a Palestine person or whoever that's marching down the road and knows that he's marching with an LGBTQ community, should sit around and say, look, man, these, my religion and my culture doesn't agree with you fucking people at all. At all. And thus, this tells me that they don't know what the fuck they're protesting.
They don't.
Donnie, they don't know what they're protesting.
They maybe they don't. I don't know what they're protesting either, because at this point, everybody protests something every damn day. The sky is not blue enough. I'm protesting. Shit, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't really get where if you see somebody, the professors that in the brainwashing, they're brainwashing. And more than just Hamas and Palestine, they do that with LGBTQ plus. They do that. They're trying to indoctrinate people in other places. That happens every day and all across all societies. So I don't really understand how the complaint is that they're marching together. Hey, why don't we look at the fact that maybe, hey, look it, they can get along in the world. That's a good example. Maybe we don't, and that's another thing I don't understand why that stigma or that association goes. And most of Arab people I talk to, my about 5 years in that place, they're no different than anybody else. You do your thing, I'll do mine. Okay, I don't like no, that's not you. It's no different. So why does that stigma have to follow that as well? That all of a sudden it's just this big conflict if we don't get along. I don't get that. But that's what you produce on the media. What's your point?
My point is that don't be shocked. No, I'll keep that to myself.
No, don't be shocked if during holiday season you see more attacks in the U.S. You see more attacks.
Yeah. I wanted to get a little more in depth.
You're gonna see more attacks on every single outpost or FOB, any base that we have in the Middle East. Those attacks are gonna just steadily increase. The people down Houthis, they've already declared all-out war against Israel. That man is going for them. BSC, they are going to use Black Ops type narrative. They're going after Israel. Israel's going to fight on a multiple front within probably the next 6 months or so, maybe, right? What happens then? Because if we're in the Mediterranean, they got to go through the Mediterranean to try to attack Israel from the sea. Well, shit. We got to sit there and watch them? What the hell? When does the people in the Mediterranean get the green light to go ahead and maybe stop something?
Well,
I'm saying.
No, it's
you're worried about. I just think so much time talking. We worry about the wrong things.
I'm worried about everybody on the fucking border, the southern border. This is where this is going to come from.
They came already.
That's what I'm saying. This is what no shit. So this is where this is going to come from. This is where it's going to come from.
60
We're not trying to scare anybody, but I agree. I think we're all in agreement that everybody, if you see something, fucking say something.
Yeah, but that's where we was talking about the next major event happening on U.S. soil again. It's probably it's a good time to come. It can't stop you. Shit.
This just crossed my mind, and if you see if Israel agrees to a ceasefire, it's going to be for an ammunition resupply.
Exactly.
That's the only way they're going to do a ceasefire. If the military commanders on the ground say they're fucking running low,
Yeah, exactly.
Yellow
All
on
right,
ammo.
let's put a halt for it. Send us in some ammo. You know what I mean?
And Donnie, you're 100% right. It's just let Israel do what they got to do. Let's just keep our aircraft carriers there and hope it deters Iran. If not, we need to defend ourselves.
We're talking ballistic missiles being shot from Yemen at our troops.
No, they're not ballistic. I don't think
said ballistic.
ballistic
It said ballistic
hypersonic
missiles.
But those weren't fired at our troops. Those were fired at Israel.
I mean, at Israel. Still, I apologize. Still, the ballistic missiles.
Right. Yeah.
Ballistic missile. You could tap a small nuclear warhead to them.
Did your report say anything about them getting intercepted?
No.
Yeah.
So did they land? Did they land in Israel?
No, well, what stuff I read earlier said that Israel, they reported that they made contact outside of Israeli borders. So
right,
whatever happened with those missiles, they're somewhere not in Israel.
Hey, so there's on the Merkava tank, and I think on their Namer tank, their infantry troop movement carriers, they got what's called a trophy system, and the U.S. is going to implement that on their tanks.
Yeah, they should have already had the fucking thing.
But hear this out though. Hamas, there is an RPG-7 double barrel, and it shoots one at the tank. The tank activates the trophy,
and then fires another one.
Yep, and it gets him. Son of a bitch. I don't know where I went with that.
That's all right. It was a good info.
That's a good tactic.
Yeah, man. I was like, wow.
So listen, on other news, we'll play a quick video and then we'll go to our final break of the evening, and then we'll discuss what's going on. So Joe Manchin discussed 2024 in first interview since announcing he won't seek re-election. I think this guy's a little confused, boys. He doesn't know whether he is a Democrat or an independent, but I like some of the things that he said as far as like, look, man, I want to work with everybody. You know, of course, Nora has to push him to fucking bring Trump into the mix. You know what I mean? That's why Nora's a little tramp. But let's take a little listen.
What are you talking about?
For president.
It's not about me. It's not about the...
And we were also on Capitol Senate, and the moderate Democrat didn't rule out a run now for the White House. Senator, the big question everyone's asking is, will you run for president?
It's not about me. It's not about the next election. I keep telling people, this is a movement.
Are you thinking about running for president?
I don't know what the future lies. I know that we can't continue the direction we're going.
That's why Senator Manchin says he wants to mobilize the middle.
People feel politically homeless.
I feel politically homeless.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
The West Virginia senator says he won't vote for Donald Trump and isn't sold on Joe Biden either.
Do you think President Joe Biden deserves a second term?
I think the people make those choices. I can't make that choice.
But you're a Democrat.
I'm a Democrat. I'm an American first. I'm an American. I'm an independent, I think. I don't know what I am. I can tell you this. I feel comfortable working with both sides.
Senator Manchin has been involved for years with No Labels, a centrist organization that is exploring a third-party unity candidate in 2024.
Senator, address this concern. If you ran on a third-party ticket, wouldn't you be helping to elect Donald Trump?
I don't buy that scenario. I've heard that, and I wouldn't buy that scenario because if you look back in history how things have played out, I don't think they thought Ross Perot would elect Bill Clinton. Now that we see some polls with Bobby Kennedy Jr. would be helping Joe Biden because it takes votes from Donald Trump. I've never been a spoiler in anything. I've never tried to. I compete the best I possibly can. I compete to win, okay? And I'm going to work right now to try to win the middle back. They've got to decide, I want things different. I want to make a change.
How do they do that?
getting involved, saying, hey, listen, you'd be surprised at how things can happen when there's a movement saying, you're not giving me an option.
What's causing the election of increasingly more partisan people? Less moderates. Why isn't the system electing moderates?
Well, the system is closed. It's a closed system. I mean, the business model is basically you control it all from birth to the finality of it. So if it's starting at the grassroots levels back in your home, could be a home district, could be a home state, whatever, senators are statewide, congresspeople are district-wide. If it's basically designed that we're going to have this ideology no matter what, whether it's you, me, or whoever, but someone that comes from what we would consider more extreme has a better chance of winning than someone that's more moderate or conservative.
Senator Romney told me, I really think that independent candidates are likely to elect Donald Trump, and I think him being elected again would be devastating for our country and its character. Do you agree with that?
I agree with the second part, not the first. He and I have talked about this many times. I don't think that basically you can say that it's going to help or hinder one over the other.
So you and Mitt Romney have talked about whether an independent candidate would help elect Donald Trump.
You can't help but talk about it because that's all you hear about in the press. We've agreed to disagree.
Are you concerned then if next year's presidential election is Donald Trump versus Joe Biden?
Very concerned. Sure.
Why?
It'd be detrimental for a person who I tried to work with as president.
Donald Trump.
Right. And I couldn't get there with Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
But to basically this visceral hatred and degradation of human beings and talking about people that make up America. You know, you can't be a person that believes the only fair election is the one you win. You can't be a person who believes that the only laws pertain to everybody but me. There's no privilege like that in America. It wasn't designed that way.
Well, we're going to have much more of our conversation tomorrow on CBS Mornings.
Donnie? D, good.
No, did you see her bleeding when she couldn't fucking get the answer she wanted? Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What a tramp.
You're lying.
Joe Manchin, I liked a couple of things he said. First, he said he was an American. He didn't label his roots or anything like that. And then he said he's a Democrat. And the second thing is when Joe Manchin puts his hand in the fire, he's going to pull something out. He's not known to lose, man. And let's not forget, West Virginia is like 90% Republicans, and he's a Democrat holding that seat. Right. Donnie?
Oh, and if I remember right, Joe Manchin was getting reelected by them Republicans.
Yes.
Yes. They like him over there, and he's a good dude. What he was talking about Trump, which we all know my opinion on that. Don't want that man nowhere near the White House. After some more stuff about people talking, you know, how we wanted to not leave, and it's just not good for us. His business concepts are good, but Joe Manchin and them guys can bring some of those business concepts. They worked with the man. So I don't agree so much with if 4 more years of Trump would be the worst thing for our nation. I think 4 more years of Biden would be something that would be, you know, further down the negative side on the poll than Trump. So I don't think anybody on the Republican side can beat Trump, though. So the way I see it, Trump's going to be the president. Suck it up. Remember, he can only have 8 years total, so we do 4 more years, and then the man has to ride off into the sunset, and we're done with it, you know?
But
then we can get Munchkin to come and drive, and maybe he can do his thing.
Hey, Donnie, you're not at Dunkin' Donuts. It's Manchin, not Munchkin.
Munchkin, whatever his name is, man. That dude can do his thing. I'll just say it.
Yes, sir. You know, and another thing, what he said, though, that was impressed is that we all know, and I wish Mr. B was on because I feel like we're talking behind his back because he's a big Trump supporter. Nobody believed Trump was going to win against Hillary, and that happened.
Right.
He grabbed that election, said it was fair and balanced. Now, when it came to him losing, which, my mind's still not settled, was it a fair election or not? But
No.
Joe Biden's the president now. But Donald Trump can't accept it. I'm like,
Right. I mean, we as the people, like you said, not happy with it. We feel that there's something silly that went on, but we're okay with it. We don't have a choice. As everybody says with that stupid saying, it is what it is.
Yeah, but
All right, so moving on, boys. Let's check out a video of the GOP Senator challenges Teamster the Teamster head to a fight exchange at a hearing.
oh, I wanted to see that video.
yeah, I saw that. That's a good
I didn't
video.
see that. I didn't see that.
You
said
just
it was
came
good
back
to
from
put
a
up.
break, D. Or do you need a break?
No, every half hour on the hour, right?
Yeah, we just came back from a break.
Okay.
Anyway,
my bad.
Anyway, play the
My
video,
bad.
Blaze. Play the video, Blaze.
You shouldn't be discussing our private chat with the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You always get on me about it.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
All right, guys, let's take a listen.
This is good.
I got no audio.
Hold on. Let me check. Let me see why, guys. One second.
Senator Mullen, he's from Oklahoma.
Okay, guys, I have to run it the other way with the echo, so no talking. All right.
Yes, sir. We can't hear it, Blaze. Blaze, no voice.
That's why. You got it now?
No.
I have a question.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get this right now. Thank you. Go ahead, Donnie. You had a question?
The one article I read when I was reading about this, it said Bernie Sanders was. Oh, no, never mind.
Go ahead. Want to finish?
No, go ahead.
All right.
What Mr. O'Brien just said about right to work states versus forced work states. I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
No,
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
mic.
you because you just
Hold it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet. I was.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match,
No,
acting like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse
Sir,
me.
hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me.
I will say exactly.
Senator
what you
Mullen,
said.
I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I
And,
did.
and let me
He's-
show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not point at
2013
me? That's disrespectful.
All right.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I
I don't
respect people that
respect you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold it.
let me
Hold it. No.
You're one of
Yeah,
100 of the most
hold
elite
it,
people.
please.
Act it.
Please. All right. This is excuse me. This is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right. If you have questions for Mr. O'Brien or anybody else on what he has said, go for it.
I mean-
But we're not here to talk about fights or
I'm-
anything else.
Bernie Sanders, pacifist himself.
You know, I'm always, checking out YouTube here and there for those foreign countries when they fucking dive over the chairs in Parliament and shit, and there's this big fight, and I sit there and I say to myself, Jesus, man, I just wonder why you're a third world country or whatever, or something to that effect. And look, here we are. Here we fucking are doing the
No.
same fucking shit.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look what our forefathers did. They used to argue all the time. Did they fist fight? I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they went to the back of somewhere and duked it out and stuff. And when is Bernie Sanders? One thing I can't stand is when an atheist uses the word God in any sentence he comes out of his mouth.
That's true too.
And old Bernie Sanders, he need a little head and shoulders. He needs to get with Troy Polamalu,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And get a little soap on that hair,
Yeah,
Bernie.
get a little shine going on, yeah.
That's the problem with the government is fuckers like him, Bernie Sanders, man. Give. Nothing in return, just give. Go ahead, Donnie.
Right, but no, that's exactly why nothing gets done in our Congress, because we are, as people and as our society has grown, ever since it was birthed on violence, dominates, fear, intimidation, that dominates, and it's just part of our political world. So when people are out protesting, well, they're just going by the example they see when you dumbasses just start yelling and screaming at each other and get nowhere, right? I mean,
Yes, Donnie. No, you're right, brother. You're right. But
talk that shit,
but that the Teamsters boss, he's the one that started that bullshit on his Twitter page.
I know.
He was the child, and UPS. If I was the CEO of UPS, yeah, UPS would be in there. But that one gentleman wouldn't be wearing that hat after he changed his oil on his pickup truck.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But
it's a Teamsters. He's the Teamsters president. UPS is probably a big union with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And let's start with an appearance. Just like John Fetterman. Big old slob wearing sweats to the Senate floor. They tightened him up a little bit, but I see him with his sweats all the time.
Well, it's the hoodie. They don't like the hoodie, but it's comfortable and he likes it. But
Yes.
shit. Okay, that's his preferred jacket. Get off it. Get away from it. Whatever.
But he uses his current medical condition as his ailment. Why did he even run for Congress then? If he was this messed up. I mean, he had the stroke during the campaign.
Okay, but just because you have an ailment doesn't mean that you can't be productive. I mean, he wanted to do something with himself. Hey, got it. I mean, that just, where are you going with that?
With the UPS guys, with the UPS and everybody else in that audience, they should.
Okay.
They looked a little raggedy, and you see the representation here. You see the president of the Teamsters Union in a nice 2-piece suit or 3-piece, whatever it is, and then the people he's representing. I'm sorry, he wasn't presenting them. They look like they got their oil change clothes on and shit, man. What picture doesn't sense? No, but hear this out, Donnie. Here you go. You got the rich, and then you got his little work crew behind him.
Okay.
Wow.
But you don't
Do you
think
think
that was a prop?
What's
You
that?
really don't think that was a prop? That was a prop.
Think
Them
so?
people in there as a prop. Hell yeah. So they could sit there and he could have his little moment of glory and tell the Senate people about how that's who he represents and blah, 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 blah. That's what that shit was. That was a fucking prop.
No,
hell no.
I
That's the
don't know,
problem with our government. The place where you're supposed to be doing government stuff and talking, you're using it as a damn theater with props and shit.
I would never do a Class A inspection on my soldiers being in BDUs.
No.
Yeah,
No, I understand that, but
I
that's why
mean I had the authority. I could have been in PT uniform inspecting them, but
I know that.
it's I don't know. I
You're
don't know.
looking for the by example guy, and you're not gonna find that in all this bullshit ass crooked union and Teamster shit. Unions are crooked as shit.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry, they don't do nothing for.
Don't
I don't
be.
see where they do a whole lot for the amount of money that they take and all the stuff they talk. I just don't see where it's helpful because right now our economy is still suffering because these union people are promising all this money that the automakers can't afford. But no, they're right there digging in and saying, no, give us more. Give us more. They're going to drive companies out of business because they're going to drive the prices and the unions just keep asking for more and more, like Mr. Sanders keeps wanting to give more and more, and he drives them out of business. That's the only thing unions do for our economy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the UAW, I think they give a pension when their folks retire and stuff. But the majority of these unions, no, man, they ain't give
No.
two shits less for their worker.
Exactly. So that's Teamster guy. That's all publicity sitting up there. If I'm sitting down there and I'm him, hell yeah, Mr. Senator, pop your happy ass up and act a fool. You ain't gonna come down here and hit me. Yes, I got the advantage.
Yeah.
That was nothing but publicity and good stuff for him.
How would you handle that, Donnie,
I don't know.
if you were a senator and he made them disparaging comments about you, and then you
What
see
did
him
he
the
say?
next day, sir?
What did
Would
he
you?
say?
Oh, he called him a clown. He told him he's a tough guy behind the pulpit. What else did he say, Blaze?
Oh, if that's okay, I remember what I read about said the same thing. Yeah, that McCullen guy is some like state champion wrestling guy, MMA guy. I'd be like, hey, that's fine. I'll be a clown. We can go link up in a ring, a cage, whatever he wants to do. No problem.
No,
And then I would
Donnie,
have went about my business.
you
I
would have
would've-
made no comment about that.
Nope, because I don't need to make a comment about it.
Yeah.
The only comment I would have needed to made about it was probably that I know that little piece of shit. He can't whip my ass. So anytime you want me to show up, I'll show up and I'll whip your ass, and then we'll get on with what we need to do.
Go ahead, Donnie. I'm sorry, bro.
I had the tabs, and if you get the opportunity, you just slap the living shit out of him. Don't even break your knuckles. Just keep open hand. Slap the shit out that man so you don't hurt your fingers so much.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
And be like, hey, he was talking shit. He told me meet him here. I just couldn't take his mouth no more. I'm sorry to my constituents. I didn't mean to get violent. I know that's not the right answer, but sometimes you just got jackasses that need to get smacked in the mouth. I had to do.
I kind of lost the respect for the senator because
Yeah,
that Teamster president, that senator fell right in his lap, man.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that
of
senator
course.
didn't even know it.
It was right. He didn't even know it. That's exactly what he wanted you to do.
Yep.
That Teamster guy did that, and it just shows the disparity, and it just I just don't. And today, especially now, the last few years, the way social media is just blown up and gets in your face all the time. They should know that they're on camera 24/7, especially when they're in them hearings. Come on, do better.
Yes.
You got to present something better, like the Majorie Green lady showing the dick pics. Come on, do better.
Yeah.
Do better. Provide better. Get some. You got teams of people, that an
Your
intern
staff.
that are, on your staff. You got 3 or 4 interns probably that just dying that summer to do all that research for you. Or put their ass to work. Come
Yes, sir.
on.
Can't argue there.
Hey,
And
so I
I'll
was
be there.
looking, I was looking at Indeed today to look at my opportunities,
Yeah.
and shit, I saw one posting was from FFN Network, wanted
Right. Yeah.
producer.
Yep.
Shut me off. Shut me off, fool.
Hey,
None
no,
but
but
love, Blaze.
I did post that thing about the lawsuits for the vaccine. That is gonna crush everybody. There, you're speaking about Indeed. That's what I saw in the article I posted in Network. That's where they found it. The Biden White House is looking for a lawyer that is smart in vaccine law and all this other stuff for, all the COVID complaints that they're in lawsuits that are building up.
Right. Let's take a little listen to Laura, and then we'll finish off the show.
Yes, sir.
10 p.m. and polls have just closed for races in two major states. First, in Virginia, where control of the legislature is one of
Okay.
just 4 states with legislative elections
Wrong
this year.
video, ladies and gentlemen.
So what's Joe Biden's new nickname?
Oh, there it is.
We have
Sorry.
Kentucky, where incumbent Democrat Governor Andy Beshear is trying to fend off a challenge from the state's GOP Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Now, remember, Beshear's dad was also governor and pretty popular back in 2015. Now, polls are still open in Ohio for another.
Hey, the GOP presidential race is getting smaller, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kinda sad.
We just had the other gentleman
Tim Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
Tim Scott.
Yes, sorry. Tim Scott. Yeah, he just threw in the towel.
30 minutes or so, and polls in Mississippi close in 1 hour. Now, Governor Tate Reeves.
Okay, I don't know why this is the wrong one, but I apologize. So, but anyways, yeah. So the GOP presidential candidates, they're dropping like flies. Why do you think Pence fucking jumped ship?
Who knows?
Anybody?
I don't know, but I thought it was kind of sad that the Mr. Scott dude, he was doing fine. They said he's posed, but as soon as his significant other came into the picture, everybody jumped and attacked his ass.
What significant other?
His girlfriend or whatever that was there with him at the last debate or some stuff like that. Because they were on him about not being married or some crap. I was like, what? That's one of the articles I was reading. I was like, that can't be the only reason he dropped out. That would be pretty shitty if that's why he dropped out.
Talking about the debate, I was very impressed with Vivek Ramaswamy when he came out and he said, "What the hell is NBC doing?" Not in these words, hosting a Republican candidate debate. It would be like the Democrat Party hiring Greg Gutfeld to sponsor their debate.
I love Greg.
He was so right, man.
Yeah, he was. Did you watch him?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't he has it in him, but it's not his time.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
And
No.
I think
He
this
can have Cat as his vice president.
Who?
Cat Temp.
Who?
Cat Kempt. From the Gutfield show. Cat Kempt.
Oh man, the hell with her, man.
Jesus.
I saw her one time and she was flaunting and she's like, "Do I look like I'm scared? I work for Fox." And I'm like, wow, you narcissist little bitch. She's a girl on the Greg Gutfield show.
So, all right, I found the correct video. Let's take a listen.
Washington tonight, cleaning up for the boss. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, for years, elected Democrats in San Francisco and Democrat governors have said that fixing the homelessness and crime problem was complex and it would take more money and a lot of patience. Police officials told The Angle they felt helpless.
You get to stay out here and do as much drugs.
You can just live out here, do as much drugs as you want.
Yeah, because the injunction about clearing tents and homeless campus.
So you can't clear it out?
Can't do that, no, right?
Is that a
but
federal?
they want us to, but we can't do it by law, right? A judge says no, unless you can provide a bed for every person you see out.
Residents' complaints about the crime, public fentanyl use, and general filth fell on deaf ears. But it turns out a court order wasn't the problem at all. All they needed was a visit by the guy who really has influence, Chinese President Xi Jinping.
While San Francisco is in the spotlight for the Asia-Pacific Economic Conference, city leaders are making sure the city shines. Caltrans repaving major roadways like the Harrison Street off-ramp from the I-80. BART doubling down by deep cleaning their stations overnight more often. Scrubbing and power washing is happening all over the city.
Yeah, the bottom of my shoes look clean.
It's noticeable how clear the streets look and how few homeless encampments there are on major thoroughfares.
Now, this shows us what total frauds these political leaders are, because they always had the ability to clean up the cities and clean out the drug dens, to send a strong message to criminals, but they chose not to.
Some people say this should be how it's always done.
What about the people who are here year-round, and local, hardworking, working-class Bay Area folks?
The answer, the left cares about power, not about your quality of life. They let the city sink into depravity because changing policies would mean they'd be admitting that their high-tax, anti-police, pro-criminal, pro-drugs policies were wrong. But now, they're kind of like teenage girls primping before a date. Newsom's prettying up things for someone he needs to impress.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true.
That's true.
But it's also true, for months and months and months prior to APEC, we've been having different conversations. And we've raised the bar of expectation between the city, the county, and the state.
Oh, we couldn't do that before, but we're so happy to do it now. This is more meaningless blather from him. The truth is, Newsom actually cares about what Xi thinks. Because, remember, he's going to need TikTok influencers to boost his future political ambitions, and he's going to need the pro-China donors from hedge funds and Silicon Valley on his side as well. This requires making Xi's date feel very special. And ditto for the Biden campaign, which is hoping to win over China to reassure Wall Street and to get their concrete pledges on climate change. Now, the entire purpose of this meeting with China is to get a smiling photo op and to signal to the money class here that we want a new era of collaboration with China. Now, how do you think Taiwan is feeling these days? And just as San Francisco Democrats have tried to paper over the suffering and the blight that they incentivized, so too have the liberals in D.C. If you've been here lately, tent cities are growing, and so is open-air drug use. The place has spiraled into a sea of violence and criminality, especially carjackings and car break-ins.
15 and 16-year-olds are facing a number of charges connected to a string of armed carjackings.
When it comes to carjacking and stuff like that, it happens so much. It's sad.
D.C. is under siege, and we need help.
So, hearing all this, why was anyone surprised by this story?
Secret Service is saying that just before midnight last night in the Georgetown neighborhood of Washington, D.C., right outside Naomi Biden's apartment building, that's one of the granddaughters of President Biden, that Secret Service encountered what they believe were 3 people breaking a window of a parked, unmarked, and unoccupied government vehicle. They say an agent discharged their service weapon. Secret Service says that the offenders immediately fled the scene in a red vehicle.
Now, the first thing that crossed my mind was, what would have happened had a regular citizen shot at those criminals? Well, we know what would happen. He'd be in jail right now. Was the Biden granddaughter's life actually in danger? Well, that is what the Secret Service is saying. Glad everyone is okay. The sad reality is this. Just as we saw with the migrants shipped to Martha's Vineyard and, of course, to Manhattan, the elites are often able to ignore the problems that the rest of the America deals with. But when they arrive on their doorstep, oh, they're suddenly forced to answer questions or deal with the consequences. And even if the answers they give are pathetic.
the president has taken action to make sure our communities are safer. Are we concerned? Obviously. Obviously, we want to make sure Americans and their families feel safe, and not just here in D.C., but across communities. But we can't do this alone. We need Congress to act.
Okay, if the voters are okay with those types of foolish answers, then they're going to continue to get bad results. So let's hope from coast to coast, the awakening has begun.
Donnie, do you agree with her?
I think there's an awakening, but I don't think it's the kind of awakening that is going to be good for us. I think it's just going to be worse. It's going to make things worse, more divisive, and it's just going to. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't know.
D.
Cleaning up stuff. It's all that I'm used to. Donnie knows the drill and stuff. Clean up the place. My big question with the San Francisco is, where did all the homeless people go? Where did all the drug addicts go?
Where'd they put them?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Where did they go?
My fucking question to this, Mr. Newsom, is that you stand there with a fucking smile on your face and say, "Oh yeah, are we cleaning this up because the big wigs are coming?" Yeah. Why didn't you fucking clean it up before?
Because at this, you know what I got from Mr. Newsom was, he went up there to that podium and he said, "You know what? Before he even went up there, I think in the car, whatever the conversation was, hey, we're busted. There ain't shit we can do about it other than try to take it on the chin best we can." So he walked up to that podium knowing damn well he's gonna tell him, "Yeah, we're cleaning them up because there's some VIPs coming." Yeah, that's why.
Right.
He didn't give a shit about telling the California public there about, whether or not they were going to get a decent answer to questions or anything. He went up there to make some statements and just to make himself kind of shine. That little stuff was all about him.
So is he basically laughing at his constituents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much.
Might as well walk up, just pimp slap him, front to back.
Right. I don't know. And people in California think that this guy is the man. Gavin Newsom is a liar just like the rest of them are. During COVID, all his little sneaky fucking restaurant deals and all of that stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. But I know, again, I have family that lives in California, and they're like, it's just getting bad, more and worse all the time. With everything, all the fucking new laws and this and that. It's just mental. Oh, buy electric. Oh yeah, but that's right. You can only charge your car from fucking 7 to 8 p.m. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. T.
The electric thing, we're done with that, and you could see Biden's administration is not even pushing that anymore. We're just not ready for it. We are not ready for it. And I was reading. What's that, bro?
I don't think he needs to push it because there's a lot of infrastructure going around. You know that all that infrastructure was bringing internet to the everybody, fiber, blah blah blah. Oh, that's going around everywhere. I can see it right around here where I live. There's
free
people out here.
I don't know. I still pay for internet. D, you pay for internet?
No, yes. But they're changing the way you're getting it. Instead of the old copper wire that's in the ground that.
Oh yeah, I want to do everything fiber optic. Yes.
Fiber. Yes.
Yes, they started doing that over so on my street.
I know. That's going along everywhere. Why does Biden need to push anything else? His biggest part of his agenda is happening right now.
That's true.
With all the infrastructure work to bring it into reality. So let me go on the trail and let me start talking about, hey, that's a promise I kept or whatever, and I'm going to use that to win. Hell yeah.
Right. Okay, Donnie, I got to cut you short. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to The Way We See It on this Tuesday night, November 14th, 2023. I'd like to wish everyone a peaceful day, and God bless each and every one of you out there. Mr. D.
Y'all have a good night. y'all come back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. You see something, say something. Still the greatest country in the world.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Donnie?
Just however we're connecting, thank you. And like always, think positive, do positive every way you can, man. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine